This is Gemara Nedarim Daf Dalid Baruch Hashem. We're well into this phenomenal Masechta without Rashi, but the Ran is guiding the way. And we pick it up on the top of Dalid Amid Aleph. We're in the middle of trying to figure out when is there a halacha of Baal Ta'acher, which we conventionally know is the halacha that if one has to bring a korban to the Beis HaMikdash, he has to be regalin before bringing it. But now we learned an equation, a hekish, between Nedarim and Naziros. So the Gemara is wondering, wait, just like we know there is the din of Baal Ta'acher by Nedarim, where does the din of Baal Ta'acher by Naziros come into play? And that is the question that we're in the middle of trying to figure out. We dealt with the answer of Rava yesterday, and now we pick it up from the top of Daled Amud Aleph. Rav Acha Bar Yaakov Amar Kigoin. You know what the case is? Tinadar ve'u bebeis hakvaros. That you made a neder of Nazirus while you're in the cemetery. Of course, one of the critical ingredients and rules of Nazirus is that you are not allowed to be mitame. You're not allowed to make yourself impure. You're not allowed to go into a beis hakvaros. So you made a neder while you're in a beis hakvaros, and the Ran speaks out. So therefore, what's the point? Is that you have to leave right away in order to accept the Nazirus. And if you do not leave right away, then this would be the case where there would be Baal Ta'acher that you delayed from accepting your Nazirus. You should have walked out of the cemetery right away. By now walking out, that is the Baal Ta'acher that is applicable by Naziros, says Rav Acha Bar Yaakov. Says the Gemara on the second line, this works if you hold that the Naziros, and as the Ran again tells us, Machlokes Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish and Naziros, that it's a debate whether when one says he should be a Nazir when he is in a Beis HaKvaros, is the Naziros chal right now, or does it happen right when he leaves the Beis HaKvaros? So if you hold it does not apply right away, and it only takes effect when you leave the Beis HaKvaros, then we have a case of Baal Ta'acher. Because then we have a case that if you don't leave right away, you're effectively delaying in creating the Nazirus. But according to the Manda Amar, the Ran teaches us is a Rav Yochanan that right away the Nazirus is chal even when you're in the Beis HaKvaros. Ask the Gemara, Mika Baal Ta'acher. In such a scenario, there would be no Baal Ta'acher. Why not? Because the Nazirus is chal right away. The whole application of Baal Ta'acher we're learning is that you're in the cemetery. You have to leave right away in order that the Nazirus is chal. But if the Mandamar holds that the Nazirus is applied and goes into effect while you're in the cemetery, there's no Baal Ta'acher. Void in question number 2. Mar Bar Ravashi explained that really the Nazirus is chal right away, meaning, says Mar Bar Ravashi, everyone agrees the Nazirus is chal right away. The debate, Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish, that you thought was when does the Nazirus chal? Does it happen right away or does it happen when you leave the cemetery? Says Mar Bar Ravashi, it is not the opinion of anyone. Everyone agrees the Nazirus chal right away. What is the debate? What is the machlokes Rav Yochanan Reish Lakish? Le'inyan malchus peligi. It's an isolated machlokes whether there's going to be malchus. So says Mar Bar Ravashi, but everyone agrees the Nazirus is chal right away, and therefore there is no Baal Ta'acher. So the Gemara is a two-pronged question. Either we're asking according to the Manda Amar that it's chal right away, where is the Baal Ta'acher? Or according to Mar Bar Ravashi, we're asking according to everyone, where is the Baal Ta'acher? Answers the Gemara, Afilu achi kim lei Baal Ta'acher mishom dekam acher Naziros dit'ahira. Explains the Gemara, you know where the Baal Ta'acher is. That whether you hold that Nazirus is chal right away, while you're in the cemetery and you're impure, or whether you hold that the whole debate is regard to Malchus, there is an application of Baal Ta'acher. Baal Ta'acher of what? That you're delaying a full-fledged, complete, pure Tahar Nazirus. That is the application of Baal Ta'acher, says Rav Acha Bar Yaakov. Answer number 2 of explaining where the Baal Ta'acher is by Nazirus. Amar Ravashi, says Ravashi, based on the above, Hoyel V'chein, based on what you, Ravashi, just taught us, you, Rav Yaakov, just taught us. Nazir Shatima Atzmai B'meizid, if a Nazir makes himself impure on purpose, Oiver Misham Bal Ta'achar de Naziras Ditahira. Comes out, what does he transgress? He transgresses that he's not allowed to be impure, and he made himself tamei. That's one. But he also transgresses the Baal Ta'achar that we just explained, this unique Baal Ta'achar that he's delaying a full-fledged pure type of Nazirus. So that is answer number 2, where the Baal Ta'achar of Nazirus is. Rav Acha Brei Rav Ika, or about 10 lines down, the first one line is Tahira. Says Rav Acha Brei Rav Ika, Omar Oiver Baal Ta'achar, excuse me. You say Oiver Baal Ta'achar, Tiglachtoi. The Baal Ta'achar of Tiglachtoi means Giluach, means to shave, to shorten, to cut your hair. That is the Baal Ta'achar he's over on. Explains the Gemara. This is obvious. This is pashit. If you hold tiglach is ma'akeves, that the cutting your hair is ma'akiv, becoming tahar. So if you delay the cutting of your hair, you're delaying the naziris from finishing. Elafilu mandar tiglach is ma'akeves. Still mitzvah giluach miya loy mekayma. There's a Baal Ta'achar that you're not mekayim the mitzvah of giluach. Teretz number 3, where the Baal Ta'achar of Nazirus is. Answer number 4, Mar Zutra Reider Rav Mari Amar Oiver Baal Ta'achar Karbanoisav. You know Baal Ta'achar, you're Oiver that you did not bring the requisite and appropriate karbanos that you bring when you finish your Nazirus. Umin Hacha Nafkale, asked the Gemara. Me'asa Nafkale, you're telling me that this is the source. This is where we learn out that there's a Baal Ta'achar of the karbanos. We learn it from elsewhere that says the Torah Kidara Jishanu El Chadais Va'ashamois Ma'udetima. That's the answer. Kidar Jishanu El Chadais Va'ashamois. So I asked the Gemara, you're telling me that you learn out the Baal Ta'achar of Karbanos from the Akish between Naziros and Nedarim. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? We have a different source of this Baal Ta'achar of Karbanos from the fact that the Pasuk says Kidara Shanu, that when you're going to have to bring the Karbanos, referring to the Chatais and the Ashamais. Answers the Gemara, Ma'udatema, you know what I would have thought? If not for the Hakish, the equation between Nedarim and Nazirs, I would have thought Chidish Ushechid Shatayra bin Nazir, that it's a special Chidish by Nazir, meaning that Nazir is a special Chiddush, and because of that, I would have thought Baal Ta'achar does not apply. That's the reason why, even though we have the pasuk of Kidara Shijashanu teaching us the obligation of bringing the karbanos, the asham, the chatas of Naziros in the requisite time period, we need a new pasuk, a hakish between Nedarim and Naziros, to teach us this din as well. Why? Because since Naziros is a Chiddush, you would think the Baal Ta'achar does not apply. So now asks the Gemara, my Chiddush, what is the novelty of Naziros that would have led you to think that there is no Baal Ta'achar by Naziros? Ilema, 10 lines to the bottom. If you're going to tell me that the case is that he did not explain explicitly that he's bringing a chatas nazir as a neder, I'll tell you, Ari chatas chaylev. There is a Baal Ta'achar by the chatos of Chaylev, even though, of course, you did not say exactly when you're bringing, you're not matvis. Why not? Because the whole obligation is an Aveira. And yet we see this Baal Ta'achar. So what is the novelty of Naziris that would have thought to teach me that we do not learn out Baal Ta'achar? Ela my chidushel. What is the chidish? If someone says, I'm a Nazir even from one grape, have a Nazir lakol, he's a full-fledged Nazir to everything. So I would have thought, maybe Naziris is so unique and special, because even making a neder from one little grape seed enables a full-fledged Naziris. So maybe because of that chiddush, I would have thought It breaks rules. There's no Baal Ta'acher. Kamash Malon, that there's Baal Ta'acher. Ask the Gemara, 4 lines on the bottom of Dalet Amud Aleph. According to that man, the Amar, I understand that what? There's a special chiddush, so we need an additional pasuk of the hekesh of the Nedarim to Naziris to teach us it's Baal Ta'acher by Naziris. Elo l'Rav Shimon, 3 lines on the bottom, the Amar ein Nazir, actually Yazir mikulam. The famous sheet of Rav Shimon that says it's only a Nazir. If you made your neder nazirs from everything, Michael and Meimar. Void. Question number 2. Hi chidish l'chumro. What's the whole havamin over here? That because nazir is special, so maybe you will not have Baal Ta'acher. You'll have a special leniency. But says the Gemara, this chidish is a chumrah. So why would the chumrah lead you to think that there's a leniency of Baal Ta'acher? Answers the Gemara, what is the chiddush? I would have thought. Hoyel, as we turn over to Dalet Amud Beis, that what's the chiddush? Says the Gemara, Hoyel vim gilach al achas mikol. Hoyel vim giluach al achas mishloshan yatza. If you only did one of the 3, the halacha is that he didn't bring all 3 karbanos. As the Ran speaks out over here, he brought only 1, and then he was giluach, he shaved his head. So you would think that effectively that's going to work. Yatzav v'lo ever let me Baal Ta'acher. Kamashlan that is Baal Ta'acher even on that case. Ibayisema second teretz. My chedusha. What's another way of explaining what is the chiddush, the novelty of naziros? Mishtam de la matvis v'neder. Because when you make yourself an neder naziros, even though all other nedarim you have to be matvis, you have to explain by means and put it on a neder. Over here, you did not, so that is the unique chiddush of Nazir. And now which you asked me, 4 lines from the top. And that which you asked me, that the case of Chatos Chelev, you know what I'm going to tell you? Chatos Chelev is different. Why? Because why do you bring the Chatos Chelev? It's a Chatos! Because he didn't have Eros, you will not be able to learn out from there. Ask the Gemara 1 second. Chaber chatas nazir l'mayasa, v'ari chatas yoledes l'asili kapara. Chatas yoledes. It's machloikas, but l'mayisa that come for a kapara. V'avar le misham Baal Ta'acher, and you are over on Baal Ta'acher. Hahi koshari le'namicha v'kachim. Says the Gemara, the chatas makes the woman allowed to eat kachim. Continues the Gemara. Let's go a little bit back. Back in Daf Gimel Amud Aleph, we had this equation, this comparison, this hekesh between Nedarim and Naziris, and it went very far. And the Brisa there said, as we quote over here, Amar Mar, 10 lines down, Dalam in the base, just like by Nedarim, so too by Naziris, what? So I asked the Gemara, Lamali Akesha, why do you need the hekesh equating Nedarim and Naziros? We should learn it out from a good old-fashioned Ma'amatzinu. It says the din there, and it should apply elsewhere. Answers the Gemara, Dilma Gabi Nedarim, who de Mefer. Umishon Umishon de it loy is lucky tutsa. Avagabi Naziros is lucky tutsa. The Naso, the stand Naziros Amidiyim, Aim Alai, Kamashlan, that is the case. That is part 2 of the Mishnah. We just begin over here that the Mishnah continued, and now says the Gemara, Amar Shmuel, the Gemara explains like we explained because the Ran taught us in the Mishnah. Bekulam, in all the cases, Madarni Mimcha, Mefrashni Mimcha, Mechagni Mimcha. It doesn't just mean I make a neder. You put Mudarni Lecha together with Sheinoich Lecha. Mefarshani Mecha, I'm distant from you, together with Sheinoich Lecha. And Meisvei asked the Gemara 1 second, we see in a Brisa, Moidrani Mimcha, Mefarshani Mimcha, Verchagni Mimcha, Rizaser. If you said these Lashoin, it sounds like by themselves, without Sheinoich Lecha, Sheini Tayim Lecha, it's still Aser. Explains the Gemara, Shani Eichla, Shani Tayim Lecha, Rizaser. The Brisa continues, but if you said the end, there's also Aser. So answers the Gemara, with this we conclude, if the case is where he said that, Ay, v'atan Tanya ibcha shani yoicha shani taim lecha aser medani v'cha v'shani v'cha v'chaytcha riza aser. Tanai hachi ukvar amar. When we're changing the words of the Mishnah, don't just add in the case of yadois. Tini, change it up a little bit. Merdani ika hainu reisha. Then it's the same thing as the first case. And we'll leave it over here as the Gemara is going to continue questioning on this answer. We'll pick it up from here in the next year. B'siyato dishmaya.